Hey, this is Big Girl Diary. Look, I got a good one for you. If you see right here, Jubilee alpha male versus beta male men, and I thought it was interesting. I haven't viewed it, so when I see it, you're going to see it too. I thought maybe a blind reaction. Oh man, I hope I don't mess up. um, but I find the topic rather interesting because right now there's a I don't want to say a war, not a war, but let's say a disagreement with ideologies within the men. Alpha men don't like beta men, and beta men don't like alpha men, and they both have their reasons, and everything has to do with women. So I would like to give my own perspective why the men talk. I'm like, ooh, or ooh, whatever it may be. So I hope you enjoy it. Also, please like, subscribe. That's for free. If you want to be a member, please do so. Price of a cup of coffee. I have been lacking at Starbucks. Hint, hint. So let's check this out.
Want to sleep with multiple women.
No, no, nah. Right now, nope, nope. Sleeping with multiple women, no, no. Boom, stop. Okay, okay. Women, we're gonna have a problem with this. I already have a problem already. Jubilee, the first question, and look at everybody's coming forward. Okay, I digress.
Yeah, I would say I definitely agree that men, want to sleep with multiple women. I think it's natural because one of the things is because we have so much sperm and that we produce so much sperm, and that makes us want to repopulate the earth basically. And so a lot of times what happens is I think that society is telling men not to do that for whatever reason. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I look at it.
Okay, I don't like anything that he said, and that's all I have to say.
Yeah, I think for the way we were cultured, I agree with that, but also too just through human history, right? For survival, I mean, maybe this is old school thinking, but it's just like for survival, you need to have lots of kids. So if someone's pregnant, how do you keep multiplying? You just, more women, right? Not saying it's right or wrong, but it's just kind of the way. I think women even cheat too. It's like 50-50.
Yeah, I think women also want to do their thing, you know what I'm saying, in some situations, you know what I'm saying? So I don't think it's just men. I think it's a natural, like I feel like because that desire is there, it's a natural thing for, if we're talking specifically men, that desire to want to do it is natural in us. So then therefore you're going to want to do it. So I don't think it's a natural thing to just be with this one woman, but at the same time, when I'm with this one woman, I only want to stay with her. It's almost like I'm lying to myself if I just want to be with her. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, that makes perfect sense. But the question is that the end point? Is being with multiple women the end point? I'm of the firm belief that it is important to position yourself as a man to have the capacity to be with as many women as you possibly can and position yourself in a way where you understand female nature and you maximize your potential as a man. And that's where I don't necessarily agree that just because there's a deeper desire to continue to do it means it's going to be the most optimal thing for you and your own ability to thrive at the highest level and connect with God here on earth.
I was taught not to be with multiple women, right? But it's like, especially, I mean, here's the thing, especially when you're in a relationship, right? It's like, it's better to grow together with somebody than multiple people, which I totally agree. But I think in the dating terms, it's like, there's nothing wrong with being multiple women because I think that's just dating. It's experimenting, it's finding other people. But are we naturally made to just always be with one person? It's like, if that were true, then these first thoughts of being with another woman, even though I'm in a committed relationship, would never occur. But it comes up once in a while. But it doesn't mean I'm acting upon it. So
and you might be being generous about saying once in a while. Probably goes up quite a bit.
It depends what kind of relationship you're in, I guess, or how good of a day it is, right? Like, but I would say for me, if it was totally natural, even though I was nurtured into only being with one woman, that these thoughts wouldn't occur then.
Right, and the thing with me, I'm non-monogamous, so I have a wife, I have a girlfriend, and I still, you know, from time to time hook up with other girls. You know what I mean? And so, and the thing is, it feels regular.
Okay, I have a huge problem with this guy. I do. Represents the 30% of the men, and I'm just throwing that number out there, that have multiple families because they can't stick with one woman, but procreating like bunny rabbits. Fuck. Okay. I still don't like him.
To me, it doesn't feel like I'm trying to do it or doing it because I'm forcing myself. It just feels just natural, like it's something I want to do. You know what I mean? And so to not do it feels unnatural. You might just want this one woman for a relationship. I can understand that. But sexually, though, I think it's all BS.
Yeah, I agree. I think a man can absolutely be head over heels in love with a woman and still sleep with other women and it not mean anything to him.
Right.
And I think all men have the proclivity to want to sleep with other women. Now, whether they're able to speak to that and actually act on that or not, or
Okay, I don't understand that about men. Okay, I don't understand that about men. I don't. Being able to be married and to love one woman, but to be able to be intimate and giving other women the same energy, the same soul ties, the same everything that he's given his wife, he's able to give to other women or his girlfriend and then come back and say, I love this woman. I don't see how that's even possible. I don't get how men can do that. I love you, but I'm going to be intimate with her, and her, and intimate in the same way that he's intimate with his wife or girlfriend. He does the same exact thing with other women, but saying, I love you. I don't understand that. I truly don't.
you said, like religiously, find a way to work around it. And I think religion has been great for that, because if it weren't for religion, we probably would not have society. But I think what's most important to identify is that a man should create choice in his life. And if you have choice, you should be able to do as you wish, particularly like in your case, like in my case, if there's no deceit.
Exactly.
It's the lying. That, in my opinion, is actually the overall problem when guys, tend to go outside of a relationship. They lie to the woman.
Right.
That's the problem.
So when I was growing up, I was under the belief of just being with one woman, right? Like I was a virgin for a very long time. Then one girl broke my heart. So that caused like a lot of insecurity, resentment towards the other side, right? And then I just became like a man whore for a little bit.
Now, I find it interesting that the one guy said that he was a virgin for a long time and then he got with a woman and she broke his heart and then all the insecurities. So I wonder if this is the reason why the men have so many different women claim to want one woman, love one woman, but has the ability to and be with a bunch of other women because his heart was broken. Am I reaching? I don't know.
I remember when I would like go on tour and things like that, my friends would always try to encourage me to like hook up with girls that were on to me. But I wasn't really like into it. And it made me feel like weird, like off, like there was something wrong with me. And now I'm at a point in my life where I feel like I'm only having sex with multiple women, so I'm not weird, so I'm quote unquote normal. I feel like even when I do have sex with these random women, it doesn't give me any gratification. And I know that comes with like random sex in the end, but I know in the back of my mind that like I just like simply don't enjoy this. Like I've been with multiple women and I've been with one woman, and being with one woman is just so peaceful. As far as like telling young men that they're born this way and that they should feel this way, it can really not do damage, but just sort of make you second guess things about.
I like him. I like him. One woman man like that.
Yourself. Am I normal? Am I weird? Is there something off about me? Everyone else around me is saying that I have to feel this way or I have to do these things, but yet I don't feel the courage to do those things.
I would say that's not true, though. I don't think that we should promote men sleep with multiple women. I think that we should promote choice and what feels right to you. So in your particular case, I would never tell you to sleep with multiple women. I think you might be doing the right thing to do exactly what you're doing and not do it or stop doing it. It's not about pushing it on the young men, but I'll tell you, there's a lot of young men that have a demon inside and maybe are really upset and frustrated with themselves because they feel a certain way. And it's like, oh, I'm coming out the closet, I'm straight, you know, or super straight or too straight or whatever it is. I think that it's really going to be about choice, man. So if me to you, I tell you, if that you don't feel good doing that, man, I wouldn't do it at all.
Yeah, I agree. In your situation, what was happening, and this is what I think a lot of times what happens is,
I still don't like him.
you have guys who will have sex with multiple women because they're trying to fill a void. So it shouldn't be about filling a void. It should be about you actually desiring. So you don't desire to do it, so which is why you shouldn't do it. But there are guys who desire to do it, but then they're suppressing their desire, and then it's doing the same thing as you not wanting to do it. Like they feel weird about not doing it, but they want to, whereas you felt weird doing it, but you didn't want to.
I think it's a
Okay, wait. Back up for a second. Back up. So, I want to make sure I understand this guy. He's saying that if he feels weird doing it, then he should not. But there's something in men that they just have the ability to be able to do it and not feel weird about it. Interesting. Really interesting.
society thing. Like what you just said, who's making them feel guilty about not doing it? Other men. The reason, I think women and men, the question was, do you feel that men are meant to sleep with multiple women? Or they're just, that's what they do. And I don't think that's true. I think it's a part of your character and who you are. I do believe that if you're going to be honest with your partner is into it, but do I believe that we are biologically meant and it's in our head because we have to procreate and this and that? I don't believe that. I believe the reason we do it a lot is because it's looked upon as a great thing for men to have multiple women. Women are shamed for that. Shamed totally. I have one son and two daughters, and I know the difference of how I felt when they were 15 or in their 20s, now they were 15 versus him having multiple partners or my daughter.
But I think what I was under the impression with that question was, are we biologically DNA created for that? I say yes, but I loved and I agree with what we're saying here. It's like, but as men, right, in the culture and awareness and being a human being, having a consciousness, choice, language, we can choose not to. We can go against those desires or urges and stuff.
Well, let me ask you this, though, because you said you're bisexual. So that means you're attracted to men and women, right? So if you're with a woman, aren't you also attracted to men? So wouldn't you want a man and a woman?
No.
So you're just like, I just want one and that's
I made a commitment. And it's not even like
But there's no urge to want.
There's always
I like that guy because he brought an aspect into it that I didn't even think about, and that was character. And he's saying, hey, I made a commitment for 30 years, even though that he's bisexual. He made a commitment to her, and he honored that, where the other guys are like, well, they're just falling into how they feel, and they take that urge and run with it. Now, and as he said, if you're open with the woman that you're with, and then if she's with it, go ahead. But if she's not with it, I like that guy. The character part. And this shows the other guys, do I say that they have poor character? And the one guy said that that was one aspect of his life, because he lived in a Bible Belt, that he struggled with and he felt bad about whenever he did it. Well, character builder. Just a thought.
What it sounded like was, and correct me if I'm wrong, people started talking about like infidelity and, telling the truth. And I think like the urges and things are okay until you act upon it. And that's when both adults just have to have a conversation about, this isn't working out for me. I still want to, sleep around or whatever you want to call it. It sounds like some people want to have their cake and eat it too, which I don't necessarily agree with. But I think just as long as all parties involved have an understanding of what they're getting into, I don't see the issue.
I mean, honestly, I don't think I could say it any better than he did. Which I feel like most of us or all of us kind of agree upon, that in the end, it is a choice. That like, if you want to be in a poly relationship, that's fine as long as everyone's in agreement. Obviously, don't, you know, be in a monogamous relationship and then, you know, like single-handedly choose to, you know, sleep with other women without telling your partner. Like, that's when like issues arise.
Submissive women are more attractive than dominating women.
Oh, hell yeah. You know,
Okay. I don't like that question.
hell yeah. Listen, my shirt says submissive women are sexy. Okay, so
Yeah, it's true, man. It's true. And look, I think one of the most beautiful things about love is being able to fully take care of a woman in every way, whether that's emotionally, protecting, providing, everything about that. Like every fairy tale that was ever written for all of time was about a man saving a woman from a castle and a dragon, right? Or some sort of scenario like that. And I think that's absolutely beautiful. And I have nothing against women being empowered, but I do feel like the happiest women in the world are the ones that look up to a man and that he can fight every day to love her and love his kids and his family and provide and be that source of something to actually look up to. Like, I believe a woman can admire a man and it's very, very, very healthy. Am I saying that somebody that doesn't do that is not a man? No, I would never. But ideally, the relationships that are going to work, the relationships in, let's say, the 30s, 40s, 50s, or whenever, you know, we were having nuclear families stay together before we went off the gold standard and inflation pushed everybody to have two people have to have a job. Yeah, dude, I do.
Yeah, I think what we have to do is we have to look at general female happiness, because that's really what I'm into. Like, I don't really care what guys think or what girls think. And I think I have a unique perspective in that I've worked with a lot of high-performing women that operate in this dominant role. And I work with them for the purpose of helping them be able to reintegrate with that more submissive, connected, intuitive part of themselves that really is connected to their bodies, that if they were connected to their bodies wouldn't be as dominant, at least in the presence of men. And with every woman that I've worked with, there is this deep, deep, deep desire, regardless of what she says externally, to submit to the leadership of a man that she knows can properly hold down the emotional space and really put her interest at the forefront.
right? Because when a woman is dominant over that man, she can't respect him. It's just impossible. She can't feel safe. Right, exactly. And the thing is with submission is like if you even look at the word submission, sub under a mission. If I have a mission and this woman is under my mission, meaning I'm leading her, right? Then that is a actual good relationship that's going to flourish.
Just got to be a man worth getting behind, and weak men are the reason why this is a problem. Case in point, look at the workplace. You don't see women applying for jobs to be power line guys or hang steel at steel companies. They're not picketing outside of the United States Army being like, why won't you draft me? They don't want that smoke, bro. Like, and that's okay.
Right.
And I can't say enough. It's like, as a man, like, you get to take pride in taking care of a woman, protecting women. What about your daughters, man? You want to protect and provide, care for them. That's okay. Let them be feminine.
They said a lot. I don't know if I am misunderstanding anything, and by a woman being submissive and a woman being dominant, and a man, how would he deal with that? And I think that, yes, submissive women, yes, will attract more men because of them being very submissive. But to what point? I mean, with her being submissive and the man being dominant, not ruling over her, but then again, ruling over her, because based on what they were saying, it was about them leading. Now, they had fathers. Their fathers already led them. So are you taking it from an aspect of being the father and leading her? Or I got to watch the other part, what the other guys say.
There were just a few things that I disagree on. I think that in 2023, especially, I think women just want to be able to look to the side and see their partner as an equal. And I think a lot of women now I don't think they're trying to be men. I think what they're realizing is that the qualities that they were looking for in men, they've always had it within themselves. If women are submissive, it's mostly for, I want to say, like, the validation for the man. I think they know in the back of their heads, like, they know now that they can do things on their own. I don't think they necessarily need a man, but I think what they're looking for is that intimacy to have a partner. But I don't think that they require one.
Oh, no, they do.
Now, he said something rather interesting. Because yeah, a lot of those things are within me, yes. And it's not necessarily that, dominant women are not saying that. It's not that I don't want a man, I don't need a man, I want to, yeah, women most definitely want that intimacy, yes. But the dominant part, or shall I say not dominant part, but the men, okay, let me cut that part out.
Because a lot of these girls, they usually go home and cry at night from being lonely, from not having a man. They have all these things, and then they're upset they don't have a man. You know what I mean? And I heard you say that women want to be the man's equal, but you don't see, and maybe this could just be a societal thing, a societal pressure, but you don't see women doing things that could make them equal to the men. You don't see the women approaching the men. You don't see the women paying for the dates. You don't see the women being more assertive to the man. You see what I'm saying? So where's that at?
Because they got options. They got so much more options than
Well,
men.
I'll tell you what you do see. You see a high level of women on antidepressants more than ever, right? And I think that's a bunch of women trying to cope with trying to be like a man when really, let me ask you a question. Are you more attracted to a woman that has a high-paying job or to a woman's beauty?
That doesn't matter to me.
It does matter. It does matter to me.
You asked me.
You could,
But I would like to say
a mother figure rather than a woman.
absolutely not. But I would like to say that you're saying that women, have a higher, have antidepressants, but men, I'm a social worker, so men 1 out of 10 are more likely to experience depression, but more likely to go undiagnosed and not seek therapy or help. So I do think, and women also, you have to consider the fluctuation in hormones, pregnancy, because that can alter, their mental health. So I think that's kind of a moot point, but I feel like
Okay, okay. The guy in the blue has a point. I mean, listening to him throughout until now, I thought it was kind of a dirtbag. But no, he does have a point. Women who go after these jobs are on antidepressants, and being in a man's world and having to operate in that manner is pretty tough. Yeah, very true. So, has given me more to think about.
I'm not looking for a mother figure. I'm looking for an equal. So I feel like with, if we're saying that women, they're like going home crying, looking for men, I think it's also that societal pressure that tells you at the same time you have to have multiple women. They're telling the women you have to have that one man, that husband by a certain age, have kids by a certain age. There's more pressure on them than there is men. And for, lack of a better term, I think men have gotten off a lot easier because women have so much pressure and they get judged more harshly than men do for talking about back then when men used to go home, bring home the bacon or whatever, the domestic violence rate was pretty high during that time. And I'll also say that for people of color, we never really had the luxury of working one job. So my parents, their parents before them, everybody always had to work, men and women. So there was always that equal opportunity for them to be able to see that they could do it together as opposed to put that one pressure. And I also would like to ask, if you guys find submissive women more attractive than dominant women, is that because it makes you feel more validated as a man, or is there something there that you feel like feeds into your
I can't wait to hear this response.
purpose as a man?
Yeah, well, it's a balance. If I'm a dominant person, I need a submissive. If I meet a dominant woman, we're gonna butt heads.
What if that changes? Like, what if she grows? Because I would love everybody to be able to grow throughout life. What if she starts becoming more dominant? Is that like a
Are you saying if she starts becoming more dominant in a relationship?
more dominant or equal to your dominant?
Oh yeah, she's gone. She's finished.
And see,
We're done.
And see, that's my thing. Like, look, I got children. I don't need somebody else to take care of. And I love your thing about, the Prince Charming and everything. But you know what I need? I need a badass woman who can match my badass energy. I work with my wife.
Don't crucify me here. But that is exactly how I've been feeling. And that is when you submit, it's like you're a child. You have to ask for everything. He's telling you what to do. You've got to get on his page. He has to lead you like you're a third child, or how many children you may have, and not see you as his wife, but as a subordinate. as someone that he has to say, okay, do this, 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 and this. But not as someone to be his helpmeet, his equal. And I don't mean equal, okay. It sounds good here. I'm having a hard time articulating it. But I understand what he's saying, and what he's saying, I most definitely feel right here.
And I'm gonna tell you, I take care of her, she takes care of me, and she's badass. And that's what I'm attracted to. I don't need a submissive that I have someone to take care of. And then it's fine, you know, if she goes through that, then I'll be there and I will take care of her. But I'm not looking for somebody, another child to take care of and have to dominate and tell, you go over there, this is where we're gonna go to dinner, this is where we're gonna do that. No, that's why what he was saying, I was gonna bring that fact up too. A lot of men are depressed because they put it on this shield of I have to be the leader, I have to do this. And you know who goes to get help first? Women.
Okay, that totally makes sense. I think if we're talking about men not ever dealing with their emotions, it makes sense for this argument that you guys are talking about. But I'm a firm believer. I've gotten a lot of therapy in my life. I've done a lot of things for myself personally to resolve my own internal conflict. Okay, so it's a job of alpha men. The real integrated alpha man has the capacity to understand what he's feeling, why he's feeling the way that he is, articulate in a way that is productive to the dynamic. So a real man is someone that understands himself deeper at an emotional level, has taken the time to do that so he can show up as a rock, not so he can show up more emotionally.
Problem is that if you're super emotional, when we talk about the whole thing of being submissive or dominant, your woman is going to dominate you because you're so emotional.
Emotionally unstable. Let's say that. Let's stop using emotion. Let's start using emotionally unstable.
Right. Since you're so emotionally unstable, she's going to dominate you, and then she's going to lose respect for you, and that's going to teeter the waters of the relationship.
So, I mean, you guys know dominatrix exists for a reason. And by the way, I used to personal train at dominatrix. You guys are their clients.
Not me, cowboy.
I'm being serious. Like, it's a very hidden thing. I used to date them. High positions of power, very alpha. But like, here's the thing. I think you guys put a little bit too much pressure on yourselves. It might be a societal thing. I've dated submissive women before. I find them highly annoying. Sometimes I just want somebody to pick a choice. I like her places. She's got better taste than I do when it comes to that kind of stuff. So please go ahead. We do butt heads once in a while because she is dominant. But does that mean she lost respect or attraction for me? No, not at all.
I like him even more. And that is an excellent point. And that you know, okay. That's an aspect I never thought of as far as being submissive women as being annoying. And there is some truth to that, especially someone who needs you to take care of every aspect of their life because you want them to submit. Now, the other guy who said that if he had a submissive woman and then she became dominant, he was asked that question, then he would get rid of her. Then now there's a perpetual state of dealings with someone who could not survive without them. And you see women like that all the time. If he leaves her, she falls apart. If he dies, she falls apart. She cannot, be able to take care of the family because she has always been submissive to him. Now, I think having a dominant woman can most definitely pick up the pieces. If he leaves or he dies, then she can go ahead and take the family and carry on. But that's interesting. I like that because I'm not downing submissive women because I think I'm like in between. I'm like in the middle, I guess. But this is a very interesting conversation. I'm liking it. But I still think cheating, no. Well, not cheating, but having more than one woman, no. Okay, I'm done with that.
And trust me on that one. So I think it does depend on your energy. You have a very high one, right? Maybe it doesn't mix well with somebody who also has a really high dominant energy. I'm not saying that's wrong because they exist for a reason, submissive people, right? But I just think for me, when it's very submissive, I don't find that as sexy. I find that annoying.
But see, and that makes sense. And the reason why, what happens is the more masculine you are, the more you want the woman to be submissive. The more dominant she is, then the more
I don't know. I think I'm pretty fucking masculine, dude. And I don't want somebody that submissive.
I'm saying that in that moment you're in your feminine, but go ahead.
If you and your wife have like a conversation about a disagreement, and then you guys like a healthy conversation, and then she ends up being right in the situation, would you consider her dominating me?
No, I consider her right.
So what's your definition of like dominant? Like you always have to be right? And
No, it's not about right and wrong. It's about who's running the show.
so by her being right, is that not her running?
No, that's just her being right in that conversation.
Yeah, a good leader would allow someone else to be right. A good leader doesn't have to be right. He wants the team to win. In fact, I'd call a man insecure if he wouldn't allow a woman to be right on the subject she was clearly.
I like that.
I do like that. And, it goes back to the question of, like, what do you find more attractive? Because that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, it's a preference.
What's the preference? It's a preference. One of the things you said is, like, when you and your partner or girlfriend get into something and it's, like, a little heated, like, I get off on that.
Me, I totally don't get off on that. Like I don't need any back talk. I don't need any lip. I don't need any attitude. It's my way or the highway. Like I don't want none of it.
Even have
Go figure. I still don't like him.
a conversation in the first place about the disagreement.
You're not having
No.
So you just want to be challenged. You don't want to be challenged.
That's okay. Like no back talk. I'm right.
That's a different thing. If we're talking about a topic and she's right about the topic, that's just how
No,
us talking about the
like
topic.
an opinion of yours or things that you
No, I'm talking about.
disagrees with.
If you're like an opinion, you're saying you want no back.
No. I'm not talking about opinions. I'm talking about decisions. So we can have a conversation about a topic, but when it comes to a decision, the final decision is mine.
Let me change my word. If we were to have a healthy discussion about a decision, which she
She
disagrees.
says, I disagree.
Right. She said, so if we say, hey, she wants to do A, B, and C. And I say, no, I want to do D, E, and F. Right?
Doing that.
We're doing D, E, and F at the end of the day. Now, I will listen to what she says. And if I think A, B, and C sounds better, then I say, okay, yeah, let's do A, B, and C because
But you
that
don't
sounds
want back
better.
talk in the first place.
No.
You
That's
even
no,
entertain the conversation.
no. That's what I'm saying. If we're having a conversation, that's cool.
That guy is confused. That guy is confused. He's dominating. Highway, my way or the highway. She can do A, B, and C. He says E, D, and F, and it's going to be E, D, and F because he says so. I don't think he's married or a girlfriend. I still don't like him.
I'm saying the final decision though is mine. So you can speak your mind, but at the end of the day, I'm making the final decision.
So it's like, I'm going to let you talk.
Yeah,
but
let you
like,
talk. Yes.
In the end, I don't really care. I'm going to do what I want.
No, I said I care.
I do want to touch upon the...
One more thing with like let's clarify submissive. Let's not get that mistaken between incompetent. Like submissive does not mean incompetent, and I think you might have been talking about women that could be incompetent, where they don't have the capacity to take care of themselves at all or make any type of decision. So I think there's definitely a difference in how she shows up in the relationship compared.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I was thinking that by her being submissive and she needs to be led, that means that she's incompetent as a woman and needs someone to lead her through life. And because of her needing to be led through life, then she needs a man to do it because she can't do it for herself. That's exactly what I was thinking. Good job, Jubilee.
Compared to being able to make decisions in her everyday life.
Sure, but he doesn't want them to make decisions.
No, I didn't say I didn't want them to make decisions.
I'll say this.
No, your decision's the final, no matter what.
Some of the strongest women in the world right now are sitting in submissive roles because they're strong enough to think for themselves and do what they feel good in their heart. Because there are women that do want to be submissive naturally. And some of those women are the strongest women in the world right now, especially when the world's telling them to go be something that they don't want to be.
I do agree that, honestly, it is a choice. It's a preference. We shouldn't speak upon, like, everybody. Obviously, like, it's always a gray area. It's a range. It's not one side or the other. And if you guys want to be in a relationship where the woman is submissive and the woman also wants to be in a relationship where the male is dominant, that's completely fine. But the thing I want to talk about more is the fact that, like, you guys keep saying that, like, this is what women want, or that, like, all women want this. Who are we to decide what women want? Because, first of all, we're not women. And second, just because of our personal experiences in our lifetime about the people we've interacted with, I feel like that's something we need to take a step back from and clarify that, like, no, this is just my personal opinion. In the end, we don't know what women want. Woman knows what they want, not men.
I have yet to see a relationship because I would say a relationship dynamic that is optimal has deep connection where you could say there's a deep friendship there, but also there's sexual polarity. And I've seen dynamics where there is a great friendship there and there is connection and they do live very cohesively. But when the woman is more dominant, the majority of the time, I've yet to see a dynamic where consistently over time, there is strong sexual polarity on her end in a dynamic.
And that's fine. Like if that's what you've seen in your lifetime, that's completely fine. Like,
But I think
but then that's
evolutionary biology says that. I don't think it's just my personal opinion. I don't think, but like,
Probably you just surround yourself with.
yeah, like, that's just saying. It's like just because you've grown up in a certain area where like people are like that, because like I could say the same thing, but on the other side, where I've seen plenty of people and plenty of relationships where like that wasn't the case, but then they're like sexually fine, you know, that they're perfectly fine, their polarity is completely fine, and they're happy. And I could say the same thing. I could keep going at you saying that, like, oh, because of what I've seen or what I've experienced, dominant men, it won't work. But then that's dumb because there are cases where dominant men do work, but there's also cases where it doesn't.
No, it's all
When they're
it's all
happy, they're
correct.
probably not going out saying, I'm so happy, I'm dominant, and I'm a woman. They're not going around saying that. You know, they're just happy. They stick to themselves most of the time when they're that happy.
Okay, I have to admit, I learned a lot from this. Oh my goodness. I thought I knew men. No, I don't. I don't know a doggone thing about men. I thought I did. I thought I did, but no. But watching this video really helped me understand the two types of men between alpha and beta. And the alpha men, there was one that was very extreme with it, the one that I don't like. He was extreme with it through all aspects of the questions. He was extreme with it and uncompromising. And then there were the other alpha males that were like, you know, I lead, but also I know how to step back and allow the woman to be able to have her own choices. And I appreciated that. Through the alpha, then the beta males were like, well, you know, I have no problem letting her lead. And because she may have some specialties or whatever it is that he doesn't possess, but feels comfortable going back and being able to allow her to do that. Or in one case, to where the guy said that he, you know, made all the money and then he wanted to do something to where he stepped back. His wife made the money and then he started working on his own business. And I thought that was really good. So I learned a lot. Thank you, Jubilee. I learned a lot out of this. So, did you learn anything out of this? I learned a lot.